politically driven one way or another, when you're going to the Republican and Democrat offices to try to kill people.
The story that from Fox News this morning does mention that at one point, who's now the deputy FBI director, Dan Bongino, at one point, long before he took that particular office, he said it was an inside job. Now, what he meant by that, because there's been speculation about FBI agents intermingling with the crowd and all that sort of thing. This is going to be an interesting case, but this is a major development that they've made this arrest. We'll know more.
And these were live bombs, right? They're capable. These weren't just fakes.
Oh, no, they weren't
capable of exploding.
Yes, they were.
Okay.
Yes, they were. So very dangerous.
I didn't know that you could do this, that you could narrow down the list of suspects by virtue of someone's gait, how they walk.
I
didn't know that.
No, this is new. This is part of the new technology.
All I can say is I'd be pretty safe because at my age, depending on whether I've twisted something or tweaked something, my walk can change from moment to moment. So they have a hard time,
pegging you.
That's right.
Yeah,
pegging. I like that. I see sometimes with a peg leg, kind of.
Yeah. All right. So we'll see that is a developing story at this hour. Also today is the first anniversary of the assassination of the CEO of United Healthcare, Brian Thompson. We all remember that in New York City a year ago. He had just left the hotel and somebody came up from behind and shot him in the back, killed him. And the man who's been arrested, the young man, again, who's been arrested in this case, his name is Luigi Mangione. He is in court today. His lawyers are arguing that the evidence that the prosecution plans to present, some of it is not admissible. You remember Mr. Mangione was arrested, I think it was a few days later. He was at a restaurant, I believe in Pennsylvania, and they came in. One of the workers at the restaurant identified him, felt he was the guy the cops were looking for in connection with this assassination. The cops came in and they talked to him and they put their hands on the backpack that Mr. Mangione had. They talked to him for about 20 minutes before they read his Miranda rights. And that's what his lawyers are going after, because in that backpack was a gun that authorities have matched to the gun that was used in the assassination. Also, there was a pad with writing on it in the backpack. Is he
claiming innocence?
Oh, yeah, not guilty, yes.
Well, I guess it would be on the technicality of an illegal search.
Yes.
Yeah, that they waited. They waited too long to read him his Miranda rights?
That's the argument's being made.
And they searched his backpack.
Yes.
Okay.
Perhaps they're saying without probable cause, certainly was without a warrant, but I'm sure the police...
Well, you know what? No, man. He blew the guy's head off.
He killed him.
They got him on video.
Yeah.
Is he claiming... I know you're innocent till proven guilty in this country, but are you saying there's a chance he gets off for murder because somebody didn't read the Miranda rights?
This is the exclusion. The exclusionary rule is what it's called, and it is controversial. But this goes back to the 60s, and the exclusionary rule says that if evidence is obtained by the police doing something unconstitutional, like an illegal search, then that evidence has to be excluded from the case.
Because it could have been planted?
Well, no, just because you have to have a warrant, for example, to search a backpack or a home. And if you go in and find evidence of a crime without a warrant in violation of the Fourth Amendment, then that evidence that you have is excluded. So then what would happen is that Mangione, his trial would have to exclude the gun. You could not enter that into evidence. You could not say, well, here's the gun. This was the gun used to kill the CEO. It was found in Mangione's backpack.
I didn't know he was I'm sorry, I haven't been following this very closely. Ray, did you know the guy claimed he didn't do it?
No,
He's
I
pleaded
guess
not
I
guilty.
I thought he was proud of himself for what he because he
Yeah.
was taking out this capitalist guy who was exploiting people in the insurance industry. Go ahead.
So Ed, you're saying that in the circumstance you just described, not only could they not bring the gun in, I suppose they couldn't even say the gun was in the backpack. I mean, they can't even mention it, right?
That's right. It would be excluded. And we've probably all seen Law and Order episodes where
Sure.
where evidence was obtained illegally, and the judge says you can't. And it the judge would instruct the jury. You can't consider the fact that the gun, even if he had on the pad of paper, if he had a signed confession, if that was obtained illegally in an unconstitutional manner, it can't be used against Mangione for the alleged crime. We'll say that he still is innocent until proven guilty. But I think he said he's pled not guilty. I don't think he's confessed to this, has he?
No.
He's pled not. I'm sure his lawyer said you got to plead not guilty or you'll probably get the chair.
What's interesting?
Why do I'm gonna ask a dumb human? Why does somebody go to the extent that he did? I'm assuming he's guilty. Okay, because the video footage and the fact that he was on the run, and the fact that all these things. Why would he? And he's smiling every day. I see him in pictures and so forth, in court and so forth. Why would they just say, "Yeah, I did it, and I did it for the, why would you say I didn't do something that you're proud of doing because you were supporting a cause greater than yourself, according to their
Yeah, I mean, well, I mean that would certainly, I would understand your question.
You'd be a martyr
if
for the cause.
if he was doing it for personal glory. If he was doing, let's say he planned on killing multiple. I say again, we're assuming that Mangione. Let's say maybe he was planning on killing multiple CEOs for the purpose of killing people he thinks is evil, not necessarily for getting famous doing it.
Yeah, that's a sidebar story, an important part of this story, because what we have going on this week is hearings there in Washington or New York, and Mangione has a cheerleading club in the courtroom. There are about 20 people, I'm told, dressed in green, because there is a cause out there that insurance companies are ripping people off.
Right.
And he actually has people who agree with what he did. In fact, I think money has been raised for his defense based on a group of people out there who think insurance companies should be punished.
Right.
Yeah, anyway. All right, well, we'll see what happens. That's going on in New York City today. You're listening to Today's Issues on American Family Radio. Next story, Fred.
Well, if folks were listening to our program yesterday, we talked a lot about what's going on with President Trump's policy with regards to Venezuela. In particular, the latest controversy is that in one of the attacks on one of these drug boats, there was a second missile that went into the boat while there were survivors. That is the subject of closed-door hearings on Capitol Hill today. The Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, says he was in the room for the first missile that hit this particular boat. I think it was early September. But he had left the room. Hegseth says he left the room when the second missile hit this vessel. But Hegseth has named Admiral Mitch Bradley as the man who gave the okay to send the second missile. Admiral Bradley is being questioned by Democrats and Republicans, both in the House and in the Senate, about this incident. Again, it's behind closed doors. The House hearing is over already. He is now in the Senate. Senator Jim Banks of Indiana sits on the Armed Services Committee. This is what he had to say this morning about all of this in an interview with Fox and Friends. It's cut number 15.
Well, I think we want to learn the truth, and the more that we learn the truth, the more we realize that President Trump and Secretary of War Hegseth are doing exactly what the American people elected them to do, and that's to protect America from narco-terrorists who are flooding our country with poisonous drugs. Over 70% of Americans support President Trump striking these drug boats. So, and we find out in this case that Admiral Bradley did exactly what he was supposed to do to prevent these drugs to come into our country. This was an active operation. The more that we know the truth, the more that we know that they did exactly what they were supposed to do. I mean, the fact of the matter is, under Joe Biden, the open borders, the poisonous drugs flowing into our country killed over 100,000 Americans a year. That's more every year than those Americans who died in the war in Vietnam. And now President Trump is the first president that we've had in 40 years who's been serious about fighting the war on drugs, and he's taking on the drug cartels.
So there you have it. And Senator Banks believes the second missile was justified.
Right?
Well, this I think is going to resolve out this way. The liberals, the progressive, the left are looking for any way to attack President Trump. And I actually agree. It's an interesting debate on sending these missiles down on the narco-terrorist. Okay, that's an interesting debate. But in the end, the American people are going to agree that if you're going to go after the drug boats, and if you are certain, if your intelligence, if your briefing, if you know these guys are narco-terrorists, Americans are going to say, shoot once and then shoot again until you kill them all. Because what's the point of shooting some but not killing all the guys who are bringing this poison into our country? I think Americans are going to be on the president's side ultimately when all this is said and done.
You're looking at me.
I'm looking at you, Ed. Why don't you solve this problem for us? Listen, okay. Can we just speak freely?
Absolutely.
Okay, because I don't have the right. I don't have. I admit that I don't. My mind can be changed, and I don't have the answers to this, except maybe what Ray said. Well, as a just determination of right and wrong. But there's a part of me that doesn't like blowing up a boat out in the middle of the Caribbean. And then
agreed. Nobody really likes that.
No,
right?
I know. Well, I say like.
You better be sure. You better be rock solid sure.
But well, we've blown up multiple boats
right
out in the Caribbean Sea, and then after we're through shooting the rocket into the boat, if we see survivors, we gun them down. We just gun them down out there in the water and leave them for dead for the sharks to eat.
What's left of them?
What's left of them, and then we move on. Is that the way our military's set up?
All right. So we discussed this yesterday, and I got in trouble with Wesley. Okay.
Well, you do drift left sometimes on issues.
It's only because my left tire needs to be aired up, and sometimes.
Well, you did grow up in Boston. So.
I did. So I like I said yesterday, I think this is a law enforcement issue, and is not an issue for the military, simply because the military is called to kill people and break things and destroy things. Okay, I personally think these boats should be interdicted by the Coast Guard. These people arrested, and I personally don't like the missiles sinking boats in international waters. And this goes to the rules of engagement. Even if you can prove that these are this is a terrorist state, okay? When we were in World War II and you shot down a plane, you were not supposed to gun down the pilot who's parachuting to the ground. That was just considered a war crime because they were out of the fight. I think that's the terminology that they use in the Geneva Convention or whatever. And to me, that's what this is. This is someone parachuting out of a plane that you've shot down, and then you fly over and you
now you
finish them off, and that's why I don't like the second missile. Now, Fred, are we sure there's a second missile? Some of the things I've read have said this is speculation on the part of the media, or the media has gotten word from anonymous sources. Do we know for a fact that there's a second missile that was used?
No, in fact, the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, said I was in the room for the first one.
Yeah.
I had to leave to go to another meeting, but he said he backs Admiral Bradley, who gave the okay for the second missile on that particular vessel.
So that's an established fact. Yeah. Anyway, that's like you said, Tim. Everybody's all over the place on this. We've kind of entered some new territory here, and I think Ray's right. I think most Americans are going to be okay with killing these folks because they are purposefully bringing in drugs to kill Americans. They know that's the result of it, and so I may be kind of in the minority on this, but. Anyway, that's my 2 cents.
Thought we should hear from President Trump, who was asked about this yesterday. Cut number 2, Adam.
Venezuela sends us drugs, but Venezuela sends us people that they shouldn't be sending. They emptied their prisons into our country. They sent us killers, murderers. They sent us drug dealers at the highest level. They sent us gang members. They sent us people from their mental institutions. They emptied their mental institutions into our country.
And,
they came over on buses, or how'd that work exactly?
I think that this is during the caravans. The caravans, remember? Yeah.
Venezuela?
Yeah.
So
interesting. Democrats have been asked about this, and you can imagine how they feel about the idea of going after these votes that apparently are coming out of Venezuela with these very harmful drugs. Cut number 4.
Most narco traffickers are not in those boats. They pay people to do that, and usually people who are not significantly involved with narco trading. It's the way they make money.
This is not who we are. This is not America.
People on a boat in the middle of the Caribbean carrying cocaine are not a direct threat to the lives of our service members or Americans.
There is no such thing as a narco-terrorist.
All right, so great. So now I'm linked to all the Democrats. Thanks a lot, Fred.
Well, it does become, in my mind, it does become a little ambiguous, a little murky when we have a Islamic terrorist, for example, or some other kind of person driven by ideology committing acts of terrorism against our people, our servicemen. We understand that. You got to kill these people. You got to take them out. You got to find them. You got to prevent them from harming us. When you change a person to a package of drugs and you say it's narco-terrorism, to me that's a stretch on the word terrorism. Okay?
Right.
Now, if you want to say it's killing American citizens by virtue of drug addictions that they are suppliers for, okay, that is immoral. It's evil. It's wicked. But it's to me it's different. But
well,
that's
and the fentanyl's coming from China, right? Isn't that where this originates?
Yes.
All right. So
components.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to hold them accountable. We're going to start, sinking boats that are Chinese.
Chinese boats.
Chinese boats that.
No, we're not going to do that.
No, I don't think so.
Venezuela has no.
We're doing it to Venezuela. I think for some other reasons included in this, and we're going to do it to Venezuela because we can, and they can't do anything back.
A lot of this to me is whose team are you on? If this were the Democrats doing this, the Republicans would be going, "What? You're using our military?"
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm saying a lot of political discussions today. You have to wade through the
right.
what team you're on to find out. Okay, what's the rightness or wrongness of a particular issue? I'm not saying I'm necessarily. I'm kind of undecided on this.
And I could be. And this is one of those things that is so murky that if someone can make the case, I'd be willing to change my mind.
Yeah. All right, we'll be back momentarily with more of today's issues on the American Family Radio Network.
It's my turn.
Here is your host for My Turn, Don Wildmon.
One of the mistakes we make when we think of God is that we think of Him only in religious terms. We divorce God from the physical and material areas of life. Anyone who is willing to make a serious study will find God to be just as concerned with our physical and material needs as our spiritual needs. He's interested in the whole person. One of the 10 Commandments requires 1 day in 7 as a day of rest. This is not only for religious purposes, but also for physical and health purposes. Physically, the body must have rest in order to function properly. Pity the poor person who never learns this. One of the secrets of Jesus' strength was that occasionally he managed to get away, to be alone. Each of us needs to get away sometimes, whether it be to the woods behind our house or to the country across the ocean. Remember that the carpenter once said, "Let's get away from the crowd for a while and rest." The modern-day pace of living is entirely too fast for us to try to keep pace with it all. We must learn to live in a fast-moving world without killing ourselves trying to keep up with it. We can overextend ourselves. We must learn to make the proper choices and to say no to some things which beckon us. We can take on too much, become too involved in too many things. A mother once told me how much time she spent just taking her children to and from their activities. It was something like 3 hours a day. She was exhausting herself trying to keep up with everything and everyone. The secret to a healthy life is balance. We need to learn to work hard and rest easy. Remember that you can overdo anything, working and resting. Try to learn the proper balance and maintain that level. But let me say it once again. Occasionally, we need to get away for a while. A person needs some time to rest, to think, to get his perspective straight in this fast-moving world. You know, I remember a meeting in which I was listening to another preacher, and he said rather boastfully on the subject of vacations that he had not had a vacation in 20 years. Well, another minister leaned over and whispered into my ear, "Yes, and the people who have to listen to him can tell it." A time apart can be anything which breaks the routine, a vacation, special trips, a refresher course in school, even a hobby. I like to go fishing when I can, which is not very often, even if I don't catch a thing. At least I can lean back and sleep while I wait for the fish to bite. It helps my soul catch up with my system. Everyone needs a hobby. Then when things get to be too much, the pace gets to moving too fast, you can turn to your hobby and rest your mind for a while. I've found that my hobbies, few as they are, have been a part of my physical and mental salvation. Divide the word recreation into 2 parts, and you get recreation. Recreation is a time to recreate, to renew. Why drive yourself to the breaking point which is bad for you and a burden on others? Let's get away for a while and rest. Don't ignore this important part of life.
This has been My Turn with Don Wildmon, a production of the American Family Association.
You will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart. Jeremiah 29, verse 13.
American Family Radio. This is today's issues. Email your comments to comments@afr.net. Past broadcasts of today's issues are available for listening and viewing in the archive at afr.net. Now, back to more of today's issues.
So because of the population of the Somalis in Minneapolis,
Yeah.
the Minnesota Vikings have decided to change their name.
Of their mascot.
Did you guys see this?
I did.
I heard the news.
They are changing their name to the Somali Pirates.
Minnesota. So they're no longer going to be the Vikings, huh?
Yeah, no Viking. The Vikings, So Somali Pirates.
That's so out of date.
The Vikings.
Well, and the difference between Vikings and pirates is not all that significant.
Close.
They're pretty
both
close.
pretty good at pillaging, aren't they?
Pillaging, absolutely.
Pillaging, good word.
All right, I'm Tim, Ed, and Fred, and Ray, and I've always had a little bit of a. I'm wondering why so much romanticism with pirates. Pirates were wicked, evil people.
Yes. Yeah.
And yet,
you didn't want to be
so
out.
we celebrate pirates. Yeah. I'm not sure I understand how we get away with that, huh?
Well, if the pirate in question is Captain Jack Sparrow, then you just kind of go, well, what's the harm?
Right.
But it's those other dudes.
All right, you're listening to today's issues on American Family Radio, where we're in December, obviously, and so we're a lot of folks are thinking about year-end donations and gifts. And
it's 3 weeks till Christmas.
Oh,
yeah, no, is that like? You mean that from today?
From today.
Mm-hmm.
21 days.
That's a lifetime for gift buying, though. Don't you think?
Yeah,
I'm glad
for
that
men.
3 weeks.
Okay, Tim.
J.J. Jasper says as long as the truck stops open on Christmas Eve,
you're okay.
You can still do your shopping.
That's right.
I didn't say that, J.J.
No, I know.
All right.
You would never say anything like that.
So anyway, folks are considering what to do in terms of donations and gifts year end. A lot of people do. And so we're here to talk about what we have to offer here at American Family Association. We have what we call our foundation at AFA and American Family Radio. And joining us to talk about what options are available to our listeners who want to make a gift is Chelsea Wildmon. Good morning, Chelsea.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
For those who don't know, Chelsea's my daughter-in-law and married to Wesley.
Right.
And they got 3 of my precious grandchildren.
Yes, sir.
And so I want to thank you for your contribution to that, Chelsea.
Well, you're very welcome. And the truck stopping here on December 24th, like you said, for mothers, it's up to that because you have those last minute. Hey, Mom, I want to add this to my Christmas list, and you're just going, okay.
Or you find out at the last minute that you've got to have a gift for an exchange at school.
Yes.
Or how about they told Santa one thing and they didn't tell the parents?
Yeah,
that has happened.
Yeah.
All right. So Chelsea, our AFA Foundation. I want to ask you about the different offers that we have, but why do we exist?
Yes, so the AFA Foundation is our financial stewardship branch, and we exist to help our donors put in place lifetime income while also supporting the work of American Family Association and American Family Radio.
Okay, like Bitcoin, things of that nature.
We have had a question about how to gift that, I believe, but we do gear more toward the traditional gifts of cash, stock,
you can stop right
qualified
there.
charitable distribution.
Our listeners have been around long enough to know I'm pulling your leg and I'm pulling their leg.
But now, if you want me to explain Bitcoin to our listening audience,
oh please, Ed.
Sure, let's just turn me loose.
All right, so no. All right, here the main we do a estate planning. We help people include us in their wills.
Yes, we have wills guides. If any of our listeners are interested, we can actually provide a guide that will save them time and money with their attorney fees to be able to list who they would like in their will, and it's a great guide to have.
How do people get what you're talking about?
Yes, they can call us 1-800-326-4543, extension 345, or shoot us an email at foundation@afa.net. So again, that's foundation@afa.net or 1-800-326-4543, extension 345.
Okay, but the main thing we do is charitable gift annuities.
Yes.
Right? Charitable gift annuities. So explain how that works, because people especially people are looking like, okay, I got $50,000, I got $100,000, whatever, and or maybe more, and I'm not sure. You know, I'm retired, but I may live 20 more years. I'm not sure what to do, or 30. Who knows? I'm not sure what to do with this money, and I would like to support the ministry of AFA and AFR, but I want it to benefit me.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
That would be our charitable gift annuity. So anyone can put a gift in place. The minimum is just $2,000. Now it goes up from there, but $2,000 or more into a gift annuity. They give that gift, and in exchange, they would receive a lifetime income for the rest of their life. And the percentage is based on how old they are at the time they put the gift in place, and then when they start to receive it. So obviously, the sooner you put it in place, and any amount of time that you wait, it would be a higher percentage.
But how
for
does that
you.
benefit AFA?
Yes. So for the donor, it's a benefit of a partial tax deduction the year that you give the gift, as well as partial tax-free income when you start to receive those payments.
Okay.
And then upon their passing, when they go home to be with the Lord, any remaining funds that have not been paid out to them are a gift to the ministry.
Okay, so if you want to do like a $100,000 charitable gift annuity, what's the minimum, by the way?
$2,000.
Okay, but let's say somebody wants to do $100,000. We have those.
We do.
People do a $100,000 charitable gift annuity, and they work with you all to get this in place. So you're telling me that they then get and you can tell them how much, they get a certain amount of money per month until they pass away.
That's correct. They can choose to receive it monthly, quarterly, annually, or semi-annually.
And what's left of that when they pass is then goes into the AFA.
Correct.
That's how that works.
It's a gift.
Okay,
Yes.
it's a gift. It's considered a gift.
Yes.
Okay. So to find out more about this, what do the folks need to do?
Yes. Give us a call, 1-800-326-4543, extension 345, or send us an email, foundation@afa.net. You can also visit our website, and that is afafoundation.net to get more information.
Okay. And I will just tell everybody, and I've mentioned this before, we have 100-plus employees here at AFA, and we have folks like you guys that are from around the country.
Right.
With different way of talking and speaking. But if you call the AFA Foundation, everybody's going to talk like Chelsea. Right there,
which should be comforting, though.
We got 3 Southern belles.
Yeah, it's very nice accents.
Yes, that's right.
Riley, Jessica, and myself.
Right,
Yes, we
right.
can help them.
I'm kind of disappointed you did leave out one thing here as we get to the end of the year for tax-deductible purposes. Folks, the 8x10 glossies of Ed Vitagliano, these are tax deductible.
Yes, they are.
You can get as many as you want, share them with your friends,
Right.
hand them out to neighbors, and that also go a long way to lowering your tax liability
Absolutely.
for 2025.
Well, a few other ways, actually, Ed, are a qualified charitable distribution. That deadline is December the 8th.
What is that?
A qualified charitable distribution from a retirement account. So if you don't want to take on that tax burden of receiving that income, you can gift that to a ministry.
Okay.
Yes.
So,
and then we also have Stalker mutual fund transfers.
Stalker mutual fund. Who
Stock.
wants
Stock
or.
Oh, stock or.
That's some of that accent you were talking
yeah,
about.
Stalker. I
Why,
think it's
stalker.
We don't need to advertise that.
Yes, stock or mutual fund transfers are to be initiated by the broker by December 15th. All of these
So these
brokers
are coming up,
very
these
busy.
deadlines.
Yes. So we definitely want to touch on these.
So can people read all this information you mentioned in the last 5 or 10 minutes? People can read all about that at our website, right?
Absolutely. AFAfoundation.net.
AFAfoundation.net, AFAfoundation.net. All right, thank you, Chelsea.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay,
Remember, folks, that's AFAfoundation.net.
And please be sure to request your Ed Vitagliano 8x10 glossy.
8x10 glossy.
And for a gift of $10,000, Ed will sign that dude.
Hey,
for
listen,
you.
I got to retire someday, too. So.
All All right. Oh, my goodness.
Chelsea's a good sport.
Yes, she is. All right. So, did you not think she said stalker?
No, she did. But that was kind of running it all together. But it did sound like stalker.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
Yeah. For those stalkers out there, we know you're trying to get rid of some cash.
That's right.
We'll take it.
Can you imagine everybody just tuned in right now?
Oh, yeah.
Just
yeah.
this moment.
Well, that's on them. They should be listening to the whole show.
That's
Every
right.
move you make, we'll be watching you. All right, you're listening to today's issues on American Family Radio. Tim, Ed, Ray, and Fred. I'm going to do Whiplash here before we get back to the news of the day. I failed to ask Ray. We talked about Advent the other day, and we are in that season. And Ray, you have another book available, right? Or another, what do you call it?
That's right.
Go ahead.
An Advent devotional, an ebook called Behold the Lamb, Advent from the Gospel of John. I am taking the four Gospels year by year. Did Luke last year and John this year, and going to do Mark next year, and 2 years from now, God willing, Gospel of Matthew this year, Advent from the Gospel of John. And we're working our way through the whole Gospel of John today here on December the 4th. We're looking at one of the more famous ones. The Word became flesh and dwelt among us. And one translation says, he moved into our neighborhood. Wonderful picture of why Christ came. And I want to encourage all of our AFR listeners to join us on this Advent journey. It's not too late. If you'd like a free copy of the ebook, we've got it in Kindle, we've got it in EPUB, and we've got it in PDF. Just go to keepbelieving.com. Keepbelieving.com. Right there on the front page, it says, download your free Advent ebook. You just follow the prompts, download, and just join us, friends, as we are journeying through John on our way to Christmas Day. Behold the Lamb, Advent from the Gospel of John.
Now, next year you says the Gospel of Mark. Doesn't he basically skip the Advent in the Gospel? How does that work?
Look, if you want the shepherds, you got to go to Luke. If you want the wise men, you got to go to Matthew, right?
Yeah.
If you want the scribes who wouldn't come to Bethlehem and no room at the inn, if you want the scribes, go to Matthew. If you want the no room at the inn, you got to go to Luke. And in John, here's the great thing, what we're doing this year, it's Christmas before Bethlehem.
Yeah, I like that.
It's what was going on in the heart and mind of God before the world was even created. You get the great panoramic view of why Christ came. And so here's the thing. It's not, you have to ask the question, did John not know about the angels and the shepherds and glory to God in the highest? Of course he did. But he wrote his gospel in AD 93, maybe a full generation after the others. So the other part of the story was already written. John's giving us the great big picture. Next year, we're going to discover Mark actually talks about the coming of Christ. He just drops the crumbs all over the place. In the Gospel
that sounds
of
great.
Mark. So
yeah.
it's going to be a fun journey next year.
Thought you had Ray, didn't you? There,
no, I was curious. I thought, man, he goes right to like John the Baptist. Mark does, but I'm actually excited about the fact that Ray's going to cover how Mark drops this in all through his gospel. So you can't get the drop on Ray Pritchard.
It's not that hard.
That doctor in front, that means something.
Yeah. All right, you're listening to today's issues. Next story, Fred.
Well, last year during the election campaign, the country got to know the governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz, because he was the choice of Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
Many Americans have breathed a sigh of relief as the result of the elections did not go that way. Well, Tim Walz didn't win that election, but boy, his name is in the news a whole lot these days. And that has to do with what a lot of people are calling the Somali fraud scandal. Mm-hmm. And that's all about during COVID and in the years that followed. The allegation is, and so there's been almost 80 arrests involved with this, that groups of Somalis in Minneapolis in particular were using COVID funds for not the relief they were advertised for. They were basically fraud millions of dollars. In fact, somebody has put it at a total of $1 billion misused funds.
These are federal, just to be clear, I'm sorry
Yes.
to interrupt you. I just want people to know, well, people think that's in Minnesota. I don't live there. Why do I care?
Mm.
We're talking about federal tax dollars that were, that's what we're talking about, right?
That is what we're talking about.
Okay, so that money, organizations could apply for grants
That is correct.
during COVID.
Yes.
What the feds have found out, and they've got like 70-something indictments, right?
Correct.
Is that in the Somali community in Minneapolis, they were submitting invoices or whatever you want to call them to the government, whatever government agency was distributing this federal tax money in the name of relief. And they were fraudulent claims.
Yes.
They claimed they were feeding children. They weren't. It was just taking in this money. There was little or no oversight here.
Yes.
And so this money, as it turns out, a lot of it was being then funneled to a terrorist organization
In Somalia.
Have I got this story right?
You've got it right.
Okay. So, and to the tune of billions of dollars.
That yes, hundreds of millions,
Yeah,
maybe
and
a total of $1 billion.
Yes, the accusation is being made by whistleblowers and others is that Governor Tim Walz, a Democrat, knew about this was going on, but he didn't want to do anything about it because he would upset the Somali population and be seen as a white man governor being a racist against the black Somalis. Have I got this story right?
You pretty well summarized.
Okay, well, there you go.
Summarized it all.
Carry on, Fred.
Here's what's interesting. We've had editorials in recent days in the New York Times, and now in the Washington Post, condemning Governor Walz for not doing proper oversight over all of this.
What has he said? Do you know?
Well, he says we have a wonderful state here. You know, we have AAA rating, and everybody loves us.
We got a lot of lakes.
Yeah, It's a wonderful spot. But what's interesting, New York Times, Washington Post, not conservative entities at all, they are turning on him and saying he bears at least some of the blame in all of this. Jonathan Turley, if you watch Fox News, he's on there a lot. He's a George Washington University professor, a legal expert. He was asked about all of this morning, cut number 12.
It's baffling, and to have Governor Walz say, well, I don't deal with abstractions, there's nothing abstract about this. In a short period of time, the number of autism centers increased by 700%. The amount of funding increased by 3,000%. I mean, these people were virtually taking the furniture out of the governor's mansion. And the most that Walz can say is that, well, we're a prosperous and generous state. Well, that's not going to cut it. This is not your money. And anyone who looks at those numbers, and this point was made by the Washington Post, could not help but say, wow, there is an amazing amount of fraud occurring in my state.
Well, and Jonathan Turley made mention of autism. One of the entities allegedly created by these Somali groups, they were petitioning money from the federal government to help families who have autistic children. Well, they couldn't find, when they did the investigation, they couldn't find where any of this money went to families with
Not a
autistic.
single autistic child.
Not one.
Helped.
They had a good thing going on there. They were
Yeah.
just ripping off the taxpayer. Huh? Sounds like, am I right? 70 plus indictments?
Yes, 78, I think
this
it's the
would be
last count.
So this would probably a U.S. Attorney's Office is
Yes.
handling this
Yes.
in the Minnesota.
And this actually started, and we want to be clear about this, the investigation actually started under Joe Biden's Attorney General Garland, because we've been doing stories about this for 2 or 3 years.
So it's not partisan.
It's not partisan at all.
Which is probably why the New York Times and Washington Post are getting on this. Listen, I don't think you can blame Governor Walz for this. He goes out and does a lot of duck hunting. I've seen pictures. You guys remember the pictures during the election?
Yeah, the guy's busy.
He's got a lot on his plate. So
yeah. Well, we'll see what
That's
happens.
sarcasm, folks.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there. You're listening to today's issues on American Family Radio. How many Somalis live in?
I've heard the number of 200,000.
And Obama brought them all in, right?
That is correct.
Okay.
That is correct.
And that's the congressional district is represented by Ilar Omar.
Yes.
Isn't that her name?
Yes.
Elon. How do you pronounce it?
Ilhan Omar.
Ilhan Omar.
The Somali population in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Now this is not nationwide. Approximately 83,000 to 84,000 in the broader Twin Cities metropolitan area. Statewide, the estimates are up to over 100,000.
How'd they get in? Was it because of climate change?
Refugees.
Or what?
Yep. Because of what now?
Climate change.
Climate change?
I would figure they brought these Somalis over about in June. Wouldn't you think? Whatever year.
And say, hey, listen, isn't this great?
I don't think they
weather?
brought the Somalis over here in January and said, here's where you're going to live.
Yeah.
You happy with it? Mm-hmm. So anyway, I jest some here, but does anyone remember the reasons? Ray, do you remember this? Why Obama brought type that in. Why did Obama bring in all the Somalis? They're probably going to say were they in a civil war? They were did they get asylum, or what happened here?
Well, I am typing this in.
Yeah, because I don't remember.
I think they do. There is civil war, I think, in Somalia.
There always is.
Pretty much, yeah.
So I think that they were refugees. This says, okay, and this is probably AI. So the resettlement of Barack Obama did not specifically bring Somalis to the United States, but during his presidency, around 54,000 Somali refugees were resettled in the U.S. as part of an existing refugee resettlement program. This program was not exclusive to Somalis or initiated solely by Obama. The resettlement of Somali refugees occurred due to prolonged instability and violence in Somalia, which created a significant humanitarian crisis.
Yeah. That's what AI says?
That's what AI says.
That's that. You're talking about that when you type something in on Google and all that information pops
Yes. Well,
up?
this is actually on Brave
Brave.
Yeah.
Web browser.
So I'm not sure which. It just says AI generated answer. Please verify critical facts.
But they all
I don't
live
have
in
time to do that.
Yeah, they all live in almost all of them live in a certain area there.
Yeah, they call it Little Mogadishu.
Okay.
Because that was the primary city of a lot of the instability in Somalia.
Gotcha. All right, you're listening to today's issues on American Family Radio. Next story.
Well, we talked about Tim Walz. On the ticket with him, of course, was Kamala Harris running for president last year.
Powerhouse ticket.
Well, she's out there trying to sell her book. And
Steal?
Democrat governor of Pennsylvania, Josh Shapiro, is not happy with some of the things in the book. In fact, he has said what she says about him, he is describing them as blatant lies. For instance, she wrote in her book that he wanted to be involved with all the decisions that the president made, and she said a vice president is not a co-president. He's very unhappy with Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris, some people say, would like to run for president a few years from now.
Bring it.
Josh Shapiro probably would not get her vote.
Yeah.
And he's a Democrat.
Kamala Harris better cash in her charitable gift annuity or her Bitcoin or something, because she's done.
She could buy some 8x10 glossies of Eva Tagliano.
Well, she could, and invest in that.
Yeah.
But I think she's finished as far as her political future's concerned. She's got nowhere to go. And all right, we'll be back momentarily with more of today's issues. Stay with us.
The views and opinions expressed in this broadcast may not necessarily reflect those of the American Family Association or American Family Radio.
Faith, family, freedom. American Family Radio.
Teenage years can be a time of trial. It can be really difficult, but it can also be the most fun and the best years of your parenting.
Dr. Jessica Peck is a pediatric nurse practitioner as well as a professor, author, and mother of 4. Dr. Peck is host of the Dr. Nurse Mama Show, weekdays at 2 p.m. Central, and find her podcast at afr.net.
This is American Family Radio, a listener-supported ministry of the American Family Association.
American Family News, I'm Rusty Pugh. Law enforcement apprehending a suspect they say was responsible for planting a pair of pipe bombs in D.C. back in January of 2021. David Spunt with the latest.
We're being told that the suspect's name is Brian Cole. We're not sure on an age or a specific residence, but picked up in Northern Virginia, the suburbs of D.C., just a few hours ago this morning, in the custody right now of the FBI. This has been a case that has mystified the Washington, D.C. community. To refresh everyone that are joining us right now, the day before the attack on the U.S. Capitol, agents say there were 2 bombs placed, one outside the DNC headquarters, one outside the RNC headquarters between 7:30 and 8:30 that night on January 5th. The bombs did not detonate, but they were viable. They could have hurt. They could have killed people. It's unclear what led them to this suspect, Brian Cole, but we're told authorities will hold a news conference at some point today.
The bipartisan group of House lawmakers unveils a framework to extend subsidies for the Affordable Care Act, which are set to expire soon. Virginia Republican Congresswoman Jen Kiggins, noting what she's learned from her career as a nurse practitioner and co-chair of the Congressional Nursing Caucus.
It's an issue that I personally and professionally care about, and is why I'm here with my colleagues to impress upon our Republican and Democrat House and Senate leadership that we can find bipartisan solutions to provide affordable health care for the people who need it the most.
Minnesota Governor Tim Walz is facing scrutiny over a series of alleged government fraud schemes. This comes as ICE has ramped up operations in Minneapolis. Garrett Tinney has more.
Federal agents are now on the ground in the Twin Cities, focusing on the Somali community and anyone who is in the country illegally. We know they have been stopping some folks out on the street asking for their IDs, also going door to door looking for specific individuals. All of this comes after those massive fraud schemes in Minnesota that involved mostly folks from the Somali community, fraudulently charging the state for social services that were never performed. President Trump and Republicans are railing against Governor Tim Walz, and the House Oversight Committee, which has launched its own investigation into the fraud, is now requesting documents, records, and communications from both Walz and State Attorney General Keith Ellison.
Tennessee voters this week chose Republican Matt Van Epps to represent the state's 7th congressional district. The congressman delivers remarks on the House floor.
I come to this distinguished body as a Christian, a husband, and a father, and an Army Special Operations helicopter pilot with 9 combat tours, who has seen firsthand what makes this nation exceptional.
A member of President Trump's first term is offering his opinion on drug boat strikes. More from Chris Woodward.
Some people and politicians have issues with the boat strikes, and they really do not care for recent news of what appears to be a follow-up strike on an alleged drug boat to eliminate people not killed by the first strike. Now, the White House says an admiral ordered the follow-up strike and insists the attack was lawful. Hogan Gidley worked for the first Trump administration and now serves at the America First Policy Institute. He told AFR this is a legal matter for courts, but he did not have a problem with the strikes.
We have had hundreds of thousands of American citizens die needlessly, senselessly, and quite frankly, all 100% preventable because Joe Biden left the border wide open. The drug cartels controlled the seas, they controlled the land, and they flooded our American communities with illegal drugs that killed our American citizens. Donald Trump feels as though it is his right as President of the United States, and I would argue the law backs him on this, as does the Constitution, to take those terrorists out.
Trump himself has referred to the drug traffickers as narco-terrorists.
If the directive is to eliminate the target after the first rocket is fired, if the target is quote-unquote not eliminated, do they still pose a threat? I would argue they do, because if they're still alive, they can still run drugs, they can still kill Americans. You have the right to drop a second bomb, a fifth bomb, however many it takes.
I'm Chris Woodward.
And on Wall Street today, the U.S. stock market is holding near its records. More news available online at afn.net and download the AFN mobile app for your Apple or Android device. I'm Rusty Pugh.
This weekend on The Stand Radio, Dr. Jessica Peck will join us to talk about the use of artificial intelligence in the latest kids' toys.
But I do want to tell parents and grandparents out there that they need to be deeply concerned about the development of AI companions. This is something that is rapidly developing on the technology front, and they are very dangerous.
The Stand Radio, Saturdays at 4 and Sundays at 8 p.m. Central on AFR.
Today's Issues continues on AFR with your host, Tim Wildmon, President of the American Family Association.
Hey, welcome back, everybody, to today's Issues on the American Family Radio Network. Tim, Ed, and now Chris Woodward. Good morning, Brother Chris.
Good morning.
Steve Paisley-Jordahl is not with us for the show today, but Ray Pritchard is. Ray's in sunny Florida. Good morning, Ray, again.
Good morning, Tim.
Well, good afternoon to you, right?
Yes, sir. It's lunchtime here.
12:05 Central Time. Okay, Ray, I want to ask you a question. I went to the coffee, to get some coffee during the break, and our staff is starting to bring sweets and refreshments and all kind of goodies. Then putting them out in front. Doesn't the Bible say something about, yes, it's our fault when we give in to sin, but that the tempter?
That's right, the tempter. That's right.
The person who's doing the tempting is also at fault. Is that right?
That is exactly right. That's right. And so last night we had some carolers came by from the Bible Institute, came by our house, and Marlene spent half the day making cookies and chocolate and stuff and that. And because I care about the students. Right, Ed, that's right. Because I care about the students. I want to protect them.
Right.
There were not as many cookies for the kids as there were that Marlene baked.
That's very touching, Ray.
Somebody's got to protect these young people.
Yeah, you talk about people who take a bullet.
That's right. I took one for the team last night.
You took some cookies, and yes, I think Jesus said that stumblings will occur, but woe to the one through whom the stumbling occurs.
That's
what you should do, just to pull a joke on somebody, like tomorrow or whenever you see somebody lay something out on the counter, just yell, "Get thee behind me, Satan!" And look at.
And when they get behind you, grab whatever they laid out there.
Grab another cookie.
That's right.
That's right.
Oh man! Well, today we got it's different every day. Today we got sausage balls.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, and got some kind of cookies with cranberry on top. Did you notice that?
No, I didn't notice those.
It's like chocolate chip mixed with cranberry.
Well, I saw you by the counter, and then when I walked by, there were no more
That
cookies.
means they're good for you because they have fruit in them.
That's right.
Well, like Ray, I'm trying to get rid of all that so people aren't tempted.
Protecting.
That's
You're protecting the staff.
You're protecting the
like
staff.
a father protects his children.
It's the worst.
That's a wonderful thing, Tim.
Did you have a sausage ball
I
during
did.
the break?
I did. Tim made me try one. He said,
That's
try
right.
one.
Look,
Try one of those.
You're
and
the
I said,
leaders.
okay.
You've got to protect the rest of us, right?
Yeah, normally they just go back there for the popcorn.
What?
But
That's right.
Since we're on the
this time
topic,
of year, that everybody's bringing all these sweets and stuff.
Since we're on the topic, what's your least favorite, Christmas food item out there? Something that's popular, but you just have never been into.
I think that's pretty universal.
That's right. I got the same answer, Tim.
Yeah, we all got the same answer. Yeah.
That's right. It's the same one.
Yeah, I still got some from college. It's still good.
There's only one.
What's the appeal though of fruit
There
cake?
is no appeal.
I'm with you. I don't get it.
You know what? I don't either. But to save the fruitcake industry, that's just another industry that we don't need to leave the United States and go somewhere else.
We need to made in China?
Yeah, well, we don't need fruitcakes made in China.
We do not.
No.
We do not.
Well,
we can make our own awful fruitcakes.
And frankly, California produces more fruitcakes than any other state in the country.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. Sometimes containing nuts.
Yeah.
Yes. To answer your question seriously, I have no idea what the appeal is. I personally think it was something that was popular like in the 1800s and early 1900s because you didn't have Nestle's and, you didn't have Toll House cookies and all that. And this must have been considered some kind of a treat. And it's like mistletoe. It's just a tradition that has hung on. Like cranberries at
I think
Thanksgiving.
those red and green things are like candied cherries or something like that.
Maybe. That's
I think
right.
that, but it's a bad combo.
It's like the spam of Christmas gifts. You don't even know what's you don't know what's in it, and you
maybe
don't really
a
want to
homemade
know.
fruit cake, but not. I don't know. Not anyway.
Yeah, not this other one.
Not the store bought.
It's candied fruits.
That's
what it is. Candied fruits, walnuts, and raisins.
Now we also got some upstairs. You can't escape upstairs in our building, which is away from the den of temptation
We've
that
noticed.
I mentioned earlier.
We've noticed. Yes.
Upstairs, somebody brought some. One of our staff brought some friendship cake today.
Yeah.
And
I like. What is
man, it's.
I was not offered I was in the room when that was displayed, and I was not informed about
Well,
that.
I guess
So,
there's a message there.
I guess I'm her acquaintance and not her friend.
Well, this was a
she did
he.
not- Oh,
They brought it up to our office.
Well,
Well, maybe
I thought-
we had two staff making friendship.
Could be.
I think this was bought from like the Amish or Mennonites or somebody.
Do you know that many recipes for fruitcakes contain rum?
Okay.
Are we allowed to have this?
That explains why people keep making it.
I don't think.
Because all the alcohol burns off or something.
Sure.
Or so they say.
I think Catholics and Methodists can do that, but I don't think the Baptists.
Certainly, Episcopalians.
We Baptists
That's
put cheer
so
wine
true.
in it.
Put what?
Cheer wine.
Cheer wine. What's that?
Yeah, it's like
That's
grape juice.
North Carolina pop. It's cherry flavored. It's made in the same part of the country
Like
where
cherry
Pepsi comes
Coke?
from. Hmm. It's like that, but it's
cherry wine. Cheer wine.
Cheer wine.
You know what? I'm looking at what's in fruitcake. This should be tasty.
Okay.
This says primary ingredients include dried fruits, candied
Good.
fruits, and nuts. Like pecans, walnuts, and almonds, but also spices like cinnamon, nutmeg, ginger, and allspice. That should be
I know,
good.
but you know what they do? I think it would. I don't think we'd have much of a problem if they would leave those candied things out.
Yeah.
The
I tell you
candied
what.
fruits.
They get mushy and they don't taste
Yeah,
right.
they're not like you bite into that and you just go, this
It's no
is
good.
wrong. This ain't supposed to be here. You know, this is
It's
not
stuck in your teeth. You
Yeah, I
can't
know.
get it out.
This is not
If I want to
supposed
eat
be
candied,
here.
if I want to
This
eat
is
candied
not
fruit, I'll
supposed-
buy candied fruit.
Right.
That's right.
Don't stick it in a cake.
You guys keep talking. I'm
Send
going to
some
order Ed some
fudge.
fruit cake from
Yeah.
Amazon.
All right.
Send it to him.
At this point, I'm willing to try one if someone wants to send one.
It's a fruit cake.
Fruitcake.
I got one in my freezer from 1977.
That's right.
Well,
You want to give it a
That was a great year. That's
Somebody
a
gave
good
it to
year.
Brother
It was a
Don at
great year, wasn't
Christmas.
it?
70 year was a great
77.
year for
Year after the
fruitcake.
bicentennial.
That's
I
right.
got that fruit cake, and it's just never been
okay,
pulled
so
out.
I have a friend who just texted me.
Yeah.
He's listening to the show.
Okay.
And he says, I'm not going to identify him because he didn't give me permission. Lots of children don't like food with fruits and nuts in it. Don't pass judgment on fruitcakes unless you've had a good homemade fruitcake. Our wedding cake was a frosted fruitcake. That's the traditional wedding cake of England. So
they're wedding
we're
in
learning
England?
things.
What?
They're wedding
What?
in England?
I don't know. I think he's giving a boost to fruitcakes.
All right. Well,
So
Well, homemade's a whole other deal.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think. Right.
yeah.
And
Homemade. Anyway, I still don't believe in the. I don't believe in the candied fruit.
Candied fruit.
I think that should. No, I don't.
well, that's
All right, let's
that's
move
8
on.
minutes that our listeners are never getting
Well,
back.
we warned them though.
Yeah.
And I think we got a consensus out there. I mean, we got maybe 10% of our audience would say, "No, give me the store-bought fruit cake."
Yeah.
But I think most people are going to stay away from that. What do you got there?
Well, I want to bring attention to a story, and we have this on our website, which is afn.net. Our friends over at First Liberty have written a letter to a Washington State school board on behalf of LifeWise Academy. LifeWise Academy is an organization that operates in many states, and with a parent's permission, LifeWise will come to a public school, pick up kids, take them off-site, teach them about the Bible, and bring them back to school later that day, so parents voluntarily have their child learn something about Bible during a
Why
public
do you have
school
to go
day.
off campus?
Because That's just to basically please people that have concerns about LifeWise. Now, in the case of Everett, Washington, the school board there and community members don't like LifeWise, and I say that based on my interview with Jeremy Dice of First Liberty. Here's what he had to tell us about the concerns or the comments toward LifeWise in Everett, Washington. Clip 16.
School district there has had its school board members and community members say some very vile things about them. The school board member accused LifeWise of indoctrinating kids with, quote, fascist theology. Another community member at a school board meeting said that LifeWise was like the Nazis, driving around Germany, picking up people with dour expressions on their face, heading towards who knows where. This is the type of opposition that LifeWise is facing in different parts of our country. And as a result, the school district has created some tax on the road for LifeWise to be operational there. And so they're making it much more difficult for LifeWise to operate.
I don't know. I'm not familiar with LifeWise. Are you?
What is this case about?
It's LifeWise Academy is an organization, and they operate in many states. They're in Ohio, they're in Washington, they're in a whole bunch of states. And they've been around for a long time.
What do they do?
They, with a parent's permission, they will come in a bus, kind of like CASA, Church After School Association, and they'll come and pick kids up during a public school day, take them off-site to a church or somewhere, teach them about the Bible, and then take them back to school.
You have time to do that?
Yes. It's actually pretty popular in places that have it, except in Everett, Washington, where Jeremy was saying
I'm guessing this is to try to avoid what the liberals accuse we don't want to be indoctrinating students with religion on public school time.
Yes.
That's what they're going to say, okay? Now, I know in many states, in our home state of Mississippi, you can have a Bible club or whatever, and I'm not talking, well, a lot of places teach Bible as an official class.
As an elective.
An elective.
Tupelo High School has that.
Yes, so that in public schools. So a lot of them have, but I'm talking about, how a public school has a club hour, whatever, during the week or every couple of weeks, and you can go to this club or that club or whatever you want to go to. And then some of them are like FCA, Fellowship of Christian Athletes. But that's welcome and not forbidden. But I guess in these lefty states,
yes,
you have to go far away.
Yeah.
To be able to talk about Christianity. Is that right?
Yes, that is correct. And so First Liberty has written the school board there in Everett, Washington, a letter saying, hey, stop being unfair to them and saying mean things. They've actually given them a deadline of tomorrow to respond. So we'll follow up with this to find out what, if anything, the school district had to say.
Next story.
In other news, we talked earlier this week in one of the segments that I appeared on, I think it was Tuesday, about the research that's out there from National Taxpayers Union Foundation that finds the states people are moving to and the states people are moving from. For people that didn't hear that show, you can go back and find the podcast.
These are trends, right?
Yes.
Okay.
No surprise here. Florida is number one in terms of states gaining residents. Texas is number two, followed by both Carolinas and Tennessee. California, New York, Illinois, Massachusetts, and New Jersey round out the bottom five. I talked to the guy.
You mean that they're leaving from?
Yes.
Okay.
I talked to the guy that did this research. His name is Andrew Wolford at the National Taxpayers Union Foundation, and he said the reason people are leaving, businesses and people are leaving, is because of things like taxes. States like California, New York, Illinois, Massachusetts, New Jersey, they've got a lot of taxes. They're looking to increase taxes, and it's killing people to the point that they're saying, you know what? Despite what it may cost me right now, I'm going to move to Florida or somewhere else. And I got some audio here of Andrew giving advice on what states need to do to get on the good side of the list next year.
Create a tax system that only takes in the amount of revenue you actually need, and doesn't treat your residents like unlimited sources of revenue that you can just tap into at every time. There's the states that are doing the best here, they're the ones that have done that.
Is that it?
Yes.
Okay.
I certainly don't expect blue states to take his advice. Yeah. They're the ones who are losing the most in terms of shifting populations, and it's because it's not just probably their tax policies. It's probably also high crime and that kind of thing. But the tax systems in these blue states are just crushing the life out of people. Even people with a lot of money, the wealthy, they don't they don't want to toss their money in a garbage disposal. So I don't see this changing anytime soon.
Look at
for
Ray.
blue states.
Look at Ray. He moved to Florida to protect his wealth.
That's
I knew it.
Such as it is, right?
Yes, that's right.
He's got a third home in the Cayman Islands.
That's right. Again, such as it.
Right,
You got to do what you got to do.
That's just where he keeps the fruitcake.
Yeah.
Thank you. We're just trying to work that in somehow.
Well, then, since you brought it up, I did look up. More than 2 million fruitcakes are sold each year in the United States. So somebody's eating them.
I
They're
know.
gag gifts.
That's true. Back to the people moving. I know that this isn't this is just anecdotal, but I know talking to people who live in the Nashville area who are friends of mine, that's growing like crazy up there from where we live. And then you got the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, which is they're about to start taking over Oklahoma.
Right.
Huh? They've gone full Rudd River there, and you got there's Florida has been growing too. Atlanta is up to they're
A
almost
zillion people.
Yeah, Atlanta. You don't want to drive through Atlanta, huh? You could.
I didn't want to drive through Atlanta 20 years ago. I sure don't now.
People in Atlanta are just now getting home after the last World Series win. That traffic is terrible.
Just back today.
Yeah, you don't want to get in that 285 loop around there.
Next year's Oklahoma-Texas football game will be played in Norman, Texas, due to the expansion of the state of Texas.
Oh yeah, Norman, Texas.
We got that.
Take over Oklahoma here before long. Anyway, and a lot of it has to do, as you say, with taxation and regulation and unfriendly business practices on these blue states. A lot of it is that.
Yeah.
So, all right, you're listening to Today's Issues on American Family Radio. Next story.
From time to time, we bring up email scams. We've talked about all kinds of scam alerts, scams, that kind of thing.
We've talked about scam-a-lots.
We have. The FBI has issued a warning to all 1.8 billion Gmail users over an email scam robbing users. The FBI is warning all email users about scam infiltrating inboxes and draining bank accounts. Again, Gmail, Outlook, all U.S. email users are to be on high alert as holiday scams surge with cyber criminals infiltrating inboxes, draining victims' bank accounts. Hey, click here for this deal, that kind of stuff. You enter your private information.
I shot that story out to y'all because I saw that last night on one of the news sites I was looking at. And, scams are every day, so that's nothing new. But it's just the fact that the FBI was saying to particularly Gmail, I don't know why Gmail or Outlook. I know a lot of people use Gmail for their email.
I do.
But
I have an email.
be on the lookout for these scam/spam emails that are going out.
Hey, let me tell you a story because it's kind of crazy. You asked me earlier about my Advent ebook. Okay, this involves that. Okay, scam involving that happened to us earlier this week. I pastored for almost 20 years in the Chicago area. Got an email purportedly from a friend, a woman who, I guess, just probably up in her upper 70s, all right? Friend of our ministry, supporter, ostensibly from her. She was, we found out later, it wasn't her. Somebody had gotten into this woman's email account, sent me a note and said, Pastor Ray, do you use Amazon? I thought she wanted to download my ebook, right? So I wrote her back, said, you don't have to download it, come directly to our website. And then a follow-up email came back, which I thought was very suspicious. She, again, found it was not her who wrote this, but whoever the scammers are, they said, I don't know how to use Amazon. Would you please give me some gift cards made out for a certain amount of money and send them to me? I'll reimburse you for that later. I want to use that because I want to buy copies of your Advent ebook to send to my friends. I mean, that sounds really nice. And it's also pretty specific.
Mm-hmm.
So we come to find out she didn't really do it. Some scammers had taken over her email account and thought they could hit me up for what, $40, $50, $80, something like that. And we investigated and found it was a scam.
Mm-hmm.
The lesson is, it's not just a Nigerian prince,
right,
who wants to get $10,000 from you. It's somebody pretending to be a friend who wants $50 or $100 or $200. If it doesn't feel right, if it doesn't look right, if it doesn't sound right, before you send them any money, before you click on any links, check it out, check it out, check it out.
Wow, that, like you said, that is not only specific. It sounds like they put some time and effort into this. They checked out what the advent and how low do you have to go to try to root a scam on somebody, a preacher giving away free copies of an Advent devotional.
Right.
Well, Lord, hey, you know what? Whoever this is, Lord, save their souls.
That's right.
Save their wretched souls.
Save their wretched souls. And who prey upon vulnerable, older people.
Like yourself.
Right. Thank you. Like myself.
Well, I know, we all know, this thing goes on via phone, text, and emails, primarily those things. I never will forget I lost my mother-in-law. She passed away in June. I think it was June, maybe it was May. And 84, 85 years old. Anyway, but my wife used to tell her daughter, Mom, quit answering those phone calls.
Right.
Because she lived by herself at the time. And Allison would be like, Brenda would say, my mother-in-law would say, well, I talked to this person on the phone, and Allison, who were they? Well, they said they were, Mom, don't you know? It's kind of like, to y'all's point about preying on the elderly.
Yeah.
And the people who are maybe unwise to the ways of the world.
Right.
Like, all these people who are calling you are not who they say they are. And all they want, do not ever give them your banking.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Information. But now, nowadays, all of our information is out there on what's called the dark web. And because of all these breaches that take place all the time. And I went, and like you did, Ed, about a year ago or so, went and froze my
credit. I did the same thing because they I think it was the Social Security Administration or something.
Yeah.
But Social Security numbers were
all
out
our
there.
Social Security numbers.
Yeah.
What'd you say, Ray? You did the same thing?
Yeah.
Did you do that?
Yes. And I've gone into the credit bureaus and frozen my
and only you
stuff.
can unfreeze them. Yeah.
That's only I can unfreeze them. That's right.
You
check it out, friends. Let me just say it again. If it looks, feels odd to you, before you hit a button or click on a link.
Don't click on a link.
Don't click on a link.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Yeah.
The Daily Mail's coverage of this, there's a paragraph deep in this article, and it says in 2024 alone, Americans lost more than $785 million to scams. That's according to FBI.
By the way,
data.
what's the deal with the gift cards exactly? What were they? Is that like? Why do they want the gift cards?
Well, it's not traceable. You use the gift cards.
It's money.
And
what do they go cash the gift card? If you get a gift card for Walmart, for example, for $100, and you give it to a scammer, can the scammer then go get the cash back? How do
either that or they just use it
to
and
buy stuff?
They use it to buy stuff. Sure.
Okay.
I don't really know. Just because I'm Italian doesn't mean I know how these scams work.
Well, I can tell you, I had to go to Dr. Google here, but Dr. Google says, in general, you cannot get cash back from a gift card, especially for Visa or MasterCard gift cards, as users are prohibited from this. But to Ed's point, you can go buy a TV or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
You can go buy whatever you want with
Be
it.
careful out there. Be careful, friends.
Yeah. That's right. All right. Thank you, Ray. Appreciate it.
You bet. Thank you, Tim.
Thanks to Chris and Ed. And let's see who else was on today.
Did you say Fred?
Fred Jackson.
Adam Suddeth, our producer.
Adam Suddeth. Cole
Green.
Chelsea.
Yep.
Chelsea Stalker Wildmon was with us earlier. If you didn't hear the
Poor
earlier part of the
Chelsea.
show, then you don't know.
Gotta listen.
I don't have time to explain it to you.
No.
Okay. All right, so tomorrow is Trivia Friday. We'll see you back here then.